We all stay strong, we live eternally. All is well in the Afton family. Ha ha ha. Wrong, nice try, bro. But nothing is well in the Afton family. Plenty of things have gone wrong for this ragtag crew. It's as if someone was controlling their fate and making them suffer for others' enjoyment. Oh wait. But how those things happened and why are sometimes questioned, and that's where the theorists come out to play. So today we're exploring some of the FNAF theories about the Afton family. Let's do it. And at 10, Clara Afton. The Clara Afton theory is a simple one. The idea that the name of Mrs. Afton, or Afton's baby mama, is Clara. This idea comes from the Between Nights cutscenes from Sister Location, where Michael goes home and watches his favorite series, The Immortal and the Restless, while eating popcorn and potentially exotic butters, which features a vampire wearing a purple suit swearing up and down that the clearly vampire baby isn't mine. And the mother of the child in this scenario is named Clara, which instantly people latched onto and are now adamant about it being the mother's intended name. And while yes, it's certainly possible and is fairly on brand with FNAF logic for lore at least, we haven't really had a name reveal this subtle before in the games. We got the names of the 5 missing kids outright. William was mentioned by name at the beginning of this game. Michael said his name at the end of this game, and I don't think that there's really been any subtle name reveals aside from Cassidy, but that takes place outside of the game series. Plus, the vampire's name is Vlad, not William, which could also easily be a reference to Danny Phantom if you want to play the whole game like that. Like, I don't know, I just don't think that the mother's name is Clara, but it's still a theory. And at 9, the Blob. The Blob is an amalgamation of various animatronics that appears in FNAF Security Breach as a secret antagonist. The Blob's main head has a mask identical to that of Funtime Freddy, but with black eyes. It also appears to be some larger version of Molten Freddy after the Pizza Simulator fire, but with more animatronics than those who were present in that fire, somehow. With parts of Baby, the puppet, which were both there, and then Chica, Mangle, Bonnie, and several Endomark 2s. But thanks to the Fazbear Frights books, we may know who this mysterious giant blob is, or was going to be revealed to be. While yes, the game released on December 17th, 2021, that was not the original intent. The original intention was for this game to come out in like 2019, I'm pretty sure. But then various delays and expansions to the game ended up causing the game to come out 2 years later. But those game delays didn't delay anything else, which meant that the Fazbear Frights books kept their schedule. And a similar creature ended up appearing in those books, which was ultimately controlled by Elizabeth Afton, who was possessing Baby. So, could this blob be Elizabeth coming back? Or maybe not, since Baby's eyes aren't lit, and it seems to prefer the face of Funtime Freddy. And at 8, fake hero. Michael Afton is a troublemaker in my mind, alright? Like, sure, he seems to be playing the good guy going after his father, but really, Michael, to me, just seems fairly entitled. Sure, he says he's trying to right his father's wrongs and whatnot, but looking at him, he's not really doing it because he's a good person. He's doing it because he feels bad, and not because of some higher, noble purpose. He blames himself for getting his brother killed, which is understandable, but also, this subsequently means that anything he does, he's doing to make himself feel better about his mistakes, because in the end, nothing will really bring his little bro back. And he doesn't even really have the gall, the nuts, the cojones to actually stop his father once and for all. He says he's going to come find him, but when he does find him in FNAF 6, he doesn't burn the place to the ground to stop him. Henry's the one who does that. Henry's also the only one willing to sack up and actually try to stop William. And that just shows how not serious Michael is about this. If he really wanted to make sure that William was stopped, he wouldn't have let himself burn in the FNAF 6 fire, okay? But he does. He lets himself burn so that he won't have to feel the regret of hurting his brother and the curse of knowledge since he knows what his father's doing. And at 7, Golden Freddy. Some people believe that the one possessing Golden Freddy is Crying Child. This is mostly based on the It's Me hallucinations from FNAF 1 and the reveal that the older brother has been our player character over the first 6 games in the series, excluding FNAF 4 and potentially others depending on things that get revealed later on. So why would people believe this? Well, it's because it would explain Golden Freddy's signature line of It's Me. Since if we do play as Michael Afton in the first game, It's Me could just end up being Crying Child trying to communicate with his older brother as to who he is. It could also explain the constant use of the phrase It's Me in the security logbook, since some also believe it to be possessed by the spirit of Golden Freddy, or the 2 spirits inside the book are also those inside Golden Freddy, which makes no sense to me because why would 2 people be possessing multiple things and the same 2 things at that? Anyway, with the line of It's Me being explained easily with the crying child being Golden Freddy, it leads to some to the conclusion that that must be the way Scott intended it. But hey, what do I know? It's not like I've made 365 FNAF videos on my own. Oh wait, this is the 366th. Not even kidding. I counted. I'm being legit. Like, this is my 366th FNAF video. And at 6, Imposter. Sus. Some thoroughly believe that this Burntrap animatronic, this new version of the Spring Bonnie animatronic, to not be William Afton, and instead possibly Henry Emily, William's business partner and the father of his first victim. Why do they think this? No idea. However, I can kind of see why, but it would simply just be due to inconsistencies. Since seemingly the endo for this version of Springtrap also has the same endo as the Glamrock animatronics, or the ones that we see in what is honestly the scariest part of the game. At least they look similar. Since if this was Afton, the endo should technically be the first version of the endoskeleton. My explanation for this is simply because they had to model this endo for the files, and they were kind of in a rush to release something after already delaying the game multiple times, so they used just the normal endo that they already had and then added some Springtrap bits onto him. And since he's so destroyed, it's really difficult to determine whether it's the same design as Scraptrap or not, and since Henry was also in the FNAF 6 location, potentially it could have been him. But again, I doubt it. Halfway through into number 5, death. These are the things that I tend to come back to when I'm talking about Mrs. Afton, but really, it's only because that's all we have to theorize about her. The possibility that Mrs. Afton died in a car crash is very possible, yet the idea that she did is so unfounded and really only has grounds in the FNAF music video world, like the original FNAF music video song world, you know? Particularly the Living Tombstones, since this seems to be where this idea originated. Not an animated Minecraft music video like I've been thinking, which honestly kind of shocked me, but either way, there isn't really any real evidence in the game or in any real part of the lore that suggests she died in a car crash. I'd say none that suggests that she died at all, but it's FNAF, so I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. But other than that, there's really no explanation as to what happened to Mrs. Afton, and people still treat what they've seen other people say online as fact without checking it out for themselves. Like, one person believed that the whole music video thing was right, and then they posted it on Reddit, and then one person read that and thought it was canon, and then it just grew from there, and now a load of people believe that this is an idea without even knowing where it came from. It came from a music video, guys. It's not canon. And at 4, Vanessa. In the best ending, there are quite a few confusing moments. The most confusing one, for me at least, is the idea that Gregory would go get ice cream with Vanessa when she's done trying to kill him, because, you know, all of a sudden she hasn't been trying to kill you for 6 hours. Why would you do that? Some seem to think that it's because they're related or representing the dead Afton kids. And thanks to MapHat, there's a little more evidence to this theory. The ice cream that Vanessa gets while on the hill in the best ending is very reminiscent of the ice cream cone that lured Elizabeth into Baby's arm grabbing or scooping range, I guess, however you want to say it. I feel like scooping is kind of more accurate considering how we're talking about ice cream here, but hey. There's a cone with ice cream on top, and while it's not the same design, this time around it's mint chocolate chip. I mean, I feel like ice cream in general, we've only seen ice cream these 2 times, so yeah, I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like that's a good comparison. Getting close to the end into number 3, Glamrock Freddy. There's a popular theory going around that once again people are treating as fact. The idea that Glamrock Freddy is possessed by Michael Afton after the FNAF 6 fire. That his soul went on to possess the Freddy animatronic somehow after the place, and he himself burned to a crisp. Since Glamrock Freddy does give off a overprotective big brother vibe, that juxtaposes well with the crying child vibes that Gregory gives off. However, I personally don't really think that this is true, at least for the moment. I'd love for it to be true, but for the sake of devil's advocate, let's think about that. While it would make sense from a literary standpoint, the rules that Scott has established in this universe wouldn't allow for this, because the games and the books have made it seem like Remnant can be burned away with fire. And while this may be false, see William Afton lied to us about Remnant. For more information on that, links in the iCard, fire would still help in preventing the creation of Remnant. That's the conclusion I came to in that video. Thus preventing Michael from actually creating Remnant and latching onto something, especially something that showed up after a whole mall complex was built on top of where he died. It seems like a bit of a stretch to me. And I'm the guy who swore up and down that Michael was a rebuilt crying child, and I'm saying that this is a leap in logic, alright? I mean, I still think that that could be possible, but like less so now, but penultimate Finally, in number 2, the one you should not have killed. I adamantly stand by my stance that crying child is the one you should not have killed. And I know that it goes against what MatPat says, but I truly believe that there is more evidence for this than there is for Cassidy being the one you should not have killed. And MatPat, if you want to talk about it, hit me up. We can figure this out together. We know that crying child dies in 1983, which is the same year that Charlotte ends up dying and possessing the puppet. However, we only know of 7 animatronics that definitely existed at this time. The 4 from Sister Location that made up Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, Baby, and Ballora, and then possibly Funtime Chica, but that's a whole other thing. Since those are said to be some of the first robots that were made according to the FNAF AR Fast Facts, the Spring Bonnie and Spring Freddy animatronics that are used in FNAF 4's location, and the Freddy used in the location that Charlotte is watching from the outside when she gets killed. There is no clear golden Freddy that Crying Child could have possessed, not taking into account potentially Fredbear being golden Freddy, but proportions kind of negate that. The other mini games from FNAF 2 don't count as well, since we can't really be sure what year they take place in. And aside from no golden Freddy, there is no animatronic around for Crying Child to possess when he dies in the hospital, unless William is just the absolutely god-awful, most atrocious father, and the hospital would not have let that happen, just saying. And finally, into number 1, Bonnie. This is an interesting theory from Reddit user Was That the Bite of _87 on the Game Theorist subreddit. The post didn't get much love, but it was certainly interesting. Was That the Bite of 87 asks if the Burntrap animatronic is using the disassembled Bonnie endoskeleton. Quote from the Reddit post, "So I have a theory that Burntrap is using the disassembled Bonnie robot. Let me explain. So you know how Burntrap has an intact animatronic foot even though no other Springtrap or Scraptrap ever had them? Management might have disabled Bonnie, and there could have been a body of a glitch trap infected person in there, which explains the dead rotting corpse, and Afton could have taken over but is weak, which explains why he still needs a recharge station. That is all I have for now." And you know what? This is actually pretty decent, and MatPat also talked about this theory. However, considering how Afton's body is in the robot, I don't even think that he using someone like possessed by a glitch trap, I don't think that he would move his corpse. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. Like, it wouldn't really be necessary if his consciousness is in glitch trap. And I don't think that any reluctant follower would be willing to move a rotting corpse. You know? Like, if Afton's body wasn't in the robot, I feel like this would be really solid, but even if he has claws, his body being in the suit proves that it's Scraptrap. I feel like it kind of has, because he was shoved full of robot bits. So how is he removed from the suit? I don't get it. Anyways, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.